So, in this video, we'll just take a quick look at some of the um, books in what is called the Apocrypha, because these are primary sources for our understanding of Second Temple Judaism and the beliefs that certain Jews may have held. So, here, what we're just going to focus on here are the things that are in it. So, basically, the Apocrypha, which is a word that is translated from a Greek word that means basically hidden things. And so these collection of books, or this collection of books, were understood by Christian um, scholars or Christian writers to be books that stand in some way as a part of the scriptures of Jews, or part of the things that Jews would read. And so this collection of books came to have a certain level of authority or importance when Christian leaders were developing doctrines. So, but, you know, this word that was created to describe this collection book is not the word that was used by Second Temple Jews for this collection. So I know that one of the things that I have assigned students to read is an essay by Lauren Stuckenbrook on the Apocrypha and Supegrapha in the Erdman's Dictionary of Early Judaism. And in there, you will note that this Apocrypha is, the idea of the Apocrypha is created from the books that are included in a collection of writings that are thought to be scripture. So, for instance, in the work known as Sinaiticus, a Codex Sinaiticus, is a collection of New Testament, Old Testament, but also includes other these books. We have a Greek version of Esther. We have Judith, and Tobit, and First Maccabees. So those are in Codex Sinaiticus. We have in Codex Vaticanus another collection of scripture, but includes again Greek Esther and Judith and Tobit. Doesn't have First Maccabees. Doesn't have Fourth Maccabees. But it does have Wisdom of Solomon and Sirach, but also includes something that Sinaiticus doesn't, which is Susanna, includes a book called Bell and the Dragon. And then we have another codex, another kind of collection of scriptures called Codex Alexandrinus. And so that has a much more extensive list of these books that are being called the Apocrypha. So you can see here on the slide that I'm dating the composition of these works, and we need to remember that a lot of times works have an evolution, so it's not about when they were composed at kind of one sitting, but over several years. But I'm dating them between 317 BCE, so this is after the time that Alexander the Great has kind of entered into Judea, into Palestine, and moved on from that period to about 100 CE, so towards the end of the year of the first century. So we have these books that are being written by Jews during this period. And so what are they? Well, sometimes we have stories of biblical and early post-biblical times. So you have Susanna, you had this book called Bell and the Dragon, Tobit, Judith, Third Maccabees. So sometimes there are these stories, these narratives that are written. Other times it's part of the Bible that is kind of rewritten, or part of the Bible that is explained. So we have like these additions to Esther, Greek Esther, or we have Baruch. Baruch is the scribe of Jeremiah. So we have a document known as the Letter of Jeremiah, the Prayer of Azariah. We even have a psalm, Psalm 151. So the Bible kind of expanded, rewritten, but of course our concept of the Bible is also a bit nebulous because, at the time, during this period of time that we have, it's a kind of evolving idea of things that have been written that are looked to as explaining Torah, explaining the law, or explaining God's will, or presenting itself as, um, you know, information that understands God's will. We also have historiography, so telling about historical events, but always with a particular agenda in mind. So First and Second Maccabees, talking about the Hasmonean uprising. We have First Esdras, which is Third Ezra. So we have these things kind of set in the past or describing the past, but with an eye towards what these past events might mean or what they should do for Jews living at a later period. What lessons are to be learned from them. And we also have apocalypses. So apocalypses are these kind of visionary experiences, these revelation. Of course, the word apocalypse means a revelation. So we'll have in the New Testament a book called Revelation. And if you were reading in the Greek that book, you would see it is the apocalypse of John. So, so we have an illustration of this type of genre amongst the collection of books. We also have wisdom material. So you've got things like known as Ben Sirach or Ben Sirah. We have the wisdom of Solomon, and we have Fourth Maccabees. So again, when thinking about wisdom tradition or how Jews might have thought about divine wisdom or how to live, what we're going to see in some of the wisdom material in the Apocrypha are things that are picking up the way in which wisdom might have been thought about by a larger culture, particularly within a Hellenistic culture. So this begins to have an influence in how Jews are thinking about their own set of wisdom. We also have prayers, so the prayers of Manasseh. So we can find ourselves with a collection of lots of different types of genres that are inside the Apocrypha. And so will have read the work by Struckenbuck on Apocrypha, and so you're going to get a lot more kind of detail in terms of not only how this collection kind of came about and about these books, but also about how this collection had an impact, as it were, particularly on early Christianity or the development of Christianity, and even within a Jewish tradition. So we'll leave that now for just a brief little introduction to the Apocrypha.